Alright, today we're making Squirtle from Squirtle Squad, or the Squirtle Squad from Pokemon, obviously. So I start off here, trying to make, the way I was approaching this was, I was thinking about making 3D simple objects that I can trace over. So for my initial composition for this shot, I was going to use the 5 Squirtles, 4 of them shooting water up in the air, keeping the leader, the one with the pointing glasses, afloat. So this is me trying to make like a turtle shell, changing it, having it have 2 colors so I know where the front is, where the back is. I also made it so the wires are permanently seen. And this is me just trying to build the composition before I start drawing. In a way, this may be kind of a waste of time because at the end I ended up with just 5 ovals that I could have just drew with the guides or the ruler. But I go in here and I make them transparent so I can trace over them and they're not as distracting. Honestly, this is a lot of setup just to do what I was going to do. It's been a while since I posted a video due to the times. It's been hard to find time to do this, but I'm hoping to come back to this more. I've been practicing how to use ink and pen, so at the end of the video you'll see some of those drawings that I have. I'm not very good, but it's been a lot of fun using a brush pen and just like a Pilot G2 pen. It's been a lot of fun. Alright, so here I am. What I'm doing here is I'm really just copying the reference photo. It's like, if you look up Squirtle Squad, you'll see him just standing there with his like feet kind of like spread apart. And I'm just basically copying it line for line, trying to get a feel for what it's supposed to look like. I eventually, of course, as you saw in the beginning, I ditched the idea of doing the 5 Squirtles, at least for now. I'm definitely going to go to that. But I was like, you know what? I need to know how to draw Squirtle before I just draw 5 and then animate them. So this is me copying the reference line for line, really thinking about the shapes and not just like the contours, but like the actual like how its fingers are kind of round at the bottom, and there's 3 of them. I had to look that up. And right here I'm like messing with the feet. It was so difficult for me to be happy with the feet at all, and this is because I wasn't using any reference. I'm sorry, I was using reference for this. I guess what I'm saying is I wasn't using variety reference. This is just a reference dead front of Squirtle, so you can only see 2 of the toes. And since I didn't understand that he had 3 toes and his feet are a little bit like longer, I couldn't draw it correctly. So, you know, once again, this is just saying always use reference. So now what I'm doing is now that I drew it and copied it from the reference, now I'm just drawing it the way that I imagine it. So I'm just kind of freehanding this, making him have his head turned a little to the left and up, like if he's looking up at the camera or looking up at you. And rotated his belly a little bit so you can see some of his back shell there. And I'm just filling in the shapes. I'm envisioning what it looks like in 3D. And since you're in 3D software, you can always take a primitive and really like see the lines, not just trace over the silhouette, if that makes any sense. So there I looked up that he had 3 toes, so those feet started making a lot more sense. And obviously he looks like a turtle, so I should have just looked that up. See where they got the inspiration. And I guess a Squirtle. Oh, I totally didn't have to draw his tail on this one. His tail's directly behind him. I like the little mouth shape that Squirtle has. It's real cute. The little clef in the front. So these are all the different layers. I breezed through them pretty quickly. And I didn't like how that shell looked, that line. So I reworked the lines to see that, to fix it, make it make more sense. And it took a while for me to even like any of these lines. Honestly, I don't think I even liked that at the end anyway. I just needed to move forward. And sometimes you just gotta do that. You just gotta move on and complete the project. So this is me using just the different tones of gray, like 25% black, or different tones of black. I guess it's gray. 25% black, 50% black, 75% black. And I used that on all the materials and colored everything differently. And then I started changing all those grays and blacks into the colors that I wanted. And that's what I'm doing now. The end result ended up being a little too desaturated, so I ended up taking it to After Effects and really tweaking those colors. As you see, these colors are pretty dull. But for all the colors, I'm making sure that the values are not overpowering each other. So I'm making sure that the yellow is only a little bit higher in value than the blue. And I think that's with if you go into the colors for Blender, it's V. I think it's Vibrance. Stands for Vibrance, maybe. HSV, yes, Vibrance. So this is me making another layer. I'm doing the shading. What I always hear to do with shading is to not only darken the color but shift it into a different hue. So that's why it looks a little purple. I end up fixing this a little later, so it's more harmonious. There it is. I changed it to like a more green color, which of course makes more sense. I'm not really good with shading, honestly. So all this is just guessing, and hopefully it looks good, and hopefully it looks all right. If you have any tips on shading, please let me know. So I figure put that shading in of the light coming from the top right. So I think that shadow on the shell really sells it for me, at least. This is me using my favorite technique. The little glare or reflection on reflective surfaces. Basically, it's just that black part of the glasses. I make a second layer and I use that as a mask, and then I change the stroke, or the layer, I'm sorry, within the stroke, so it's in 3D space instead of 2D space. It's in the settings, and then I put the little icon on the right side in the layers to use it as a mask. And then that's it. And since the 3 white objects are actually in space when the camera moves around, it actually does have this like illusion that there's a reflection on the sunglasses. You can check out my other videos. I go much deeper into it. I think 2 videos back, and I actually walk through on how to do this effect. So this is me trying to see if I can put a glow effect on the reflection. And if you put the glow way too big, it actually makes the layers behind it invisible, so his head becomes invisible. So I have to put it just enough so it doesn't spread outside of the constraints of the black sunglasses. Alright, I was originally going to just do this as a plain background, but I decided to add some very basic shapes in the background to make it a little bit more interesting. Once again, keeping my values in a similar range, and just making some interest in the background, so we can prop up my little janky Squirtle squad. Squirtle squad, man. Pokemans. I think the green really brings out the blue in his skin. It's really nice. So I was trying to mess with the effects to see if I could do like some shadow. I ended up giving up on shadows because I just wanted to have this done. I tried to put some light marks on the road there to give it some interest. I just thought it made it look kind of muddy, so I left it out. So this is me adding some movement to the camera using modifiers within like I think it's the graph editor. And see, and that's where that reflective effect comes in. And that's about it. So hopefully you like that video. And this is some of the drawings I've been working on. I've been practicing my inking with the brush pen, and I'm trying to get a lot better drawing traditionally so I can transfer it over to Blender. So maybe I'll bring some of these characters or designs to a Blender tutorial or a Blender artwork, because I definitely want to use Blender a lot more. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day.